for us to give you, the persons who have paid rent for 20 years, the house. They can't be for you, the people. But the Democratic Labour Party has fought for you, the people, through thick and thin. The only thing you've had to pay is the legal fees. And when they are opposing these programs, we know that it's the wickedness of the Barbados Labour Party, because they do not want to see everyday Barbadians becoming homeowners. Let's look at the policies of both parties and we do a breakdown. The Barbados Labour Party was relevant in its time when it was started. Our Barra, who eventually was one of the co-founders of the Democratic Labour Party, he left because he realized that they were not thinking ahead. The Barbados Labour Party has always been a party that cares about employment. Employment only. The Democratic Labour Party has cared about employment and empowerment for the people of Barbados. When we think about empowerment, just think of the everyday white people who were the persons who could vote under a Barbados Labour Party regime. And those were the persons who would continue to try to oppress black Barbadians and have them working for little to nothing. But with the Democratic Labour Party, we've come up with the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme. We brought in fund access. We've brought in many training programs. One of the training programs we've brought has been a $10 million retraining fund for Barbadians in these tough economic times. And then they question what we do as a government. Ladies and gentlemen of Christchurch West, do not be fooled. When we look at the skills training centers that we have across Barbados, we just built another one at St. Luke's Brighton in St. George. This center now has the top orthotronics lab in Barbados. Means that everyday Barbadians, youngsters, can go, if they don't like to get involved in the academia, they could go and be trained properly to become the next mechanic. Not necessarily going working for somebody, but they may do an apprenticeship program, but eventually we're trying to get Barbadians to move on into entrepreneurship. Look after them own selves. Don't have to go and clock in and clock out every day. We're looking to improve the lives of Barbadians. When the Barbados Labour Party started with their energy program several years ago, they were not thinking in advance of what, even though the oil prices were going up, they were not thinking what would happen. They were too comfortable with what oil was at. How many of you can remember in 2002 when they were constructing the Barbados Light and Power station on Spring Garden? When they shut down the roads for about 3 weeks so that they could transfer these big diesel turbines so that we could get energy. They did not think about going into solar energy. However, the Democratic Labour Party has come. We made a promise, and we've kept our promise to approach sustainable energy programs, renewable energy and energy efficiency. We've bought, and you can see across, solar panels on this roof, solar panels on that roof. And these solar panels are not only for hot water systems. Persons are now powering their homes with the solar electricity. The solar electricity, yes, the startup cost may be high, but it has been a step forward, because anything that is brought brand new will always start off at a high point. Will always start off at a high cost. Look at how many times something new has come onto the market and they start off high. But look, when the Democratic Labour Party has done something called tax-free, tax concessions are offered to everyday Barbadians who endeavor to bring solar energy to their homes. This solar energy will mean that when we are starting to make payments, eventually when we start to make payments on these loans, that it will be the equivalent eventually to become about, the payment will be the same as your light bill now. But the Barbados Labour Party, they couldn't care about that because they cared nothing about where the energy of this country was going. They cared nothing about where the tourism of this country was going either, or the agriculture. The Barbados Labour Party has been so one-dimensional in its approach to the government that they more or less got rid of our agriculture sector. But the Democratic Labour Party